This is episode 278. There's differences, but also sameses.
But also, Halloween probably. We're talking about an interesting idea on the YouTube front with guitar and documenting creativity instead of documenting gear. We're talking about albums that are just bustin' chops and Gundams and like Star Wars. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Did we? I just said that.
We didn't talk about Star Wars. I don't think there was any Star Wars.
I just said that. Like, I didn't even try. Oh, my God.
It was a default. A Star Wars free episode.
I'll say right now, I got into the part of the Clone Wars where the screen goes red. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow.
Where the logo turns red, that one? Yeah. It's just getting wild.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. He's back, baby. Okay. It's the tone control.
All right.
Complete with Star Wars. You're welcome.
Okay. Now with 100% more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Than it had before. Okay.
Ding.
Ding. All right,
Sup.
all right. Sup, bro. You know, last episode, there was like so much stuff, and I had like things in my mind that I was like, oh, we're going to get to circle back on this topic and stuff. Like there's some things. And so anyway, nothing's lightened up. There's still stuff. We had friggin' Halloween.
Yep. So did we.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Halloween on this end, Halloween went well. Kiddo was a equestrian, like Olympic equestrian person, which she has the outfit already for, right? Because she actually rides horses.
Yep.
So I put a little like American flag patch on this blazer she had so she could dress it up all formal. And she was excited about that costume, and then she got a lot of trepidation about it like the week leading up to, and I think she thought it wasn't cool enough for like the friends at school and stuff like that. But we kind of convinced her to keep going, and a bunch of the people, like when she was out trick-or-treating, like we heard tons of people like, oh my God, you're an equestrian, like I love, getting really like, people handing out candy, getting excited about it. So I think she had a good time after all. So,
That's great.
Pretty much a success.
That's great.
And then I shared our adult costume on Discord some time ago. So this was
very good.
I'm really proud of it. I would not talk about this normally, but this was sort of this weird idea. It was this thing that Marielle saw on Instagram or something.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Around.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And she showed it to me, and she was like, how did they do this? And I was like, So
how did they do this?
So the thing for the audience, the thing is, basically it was this the one I saw was this elderly couple that had done it, but basically they had like they drawn themselves up like their string lights, like holiday string lights with a great big plug on the belly, and one of them had the socket and one of them had the plug, and you'd put the like plugging it into the wall, and then they lit up. And she was like, how'd they do that? And I was like, I can invent that. Yeah. So I got some bins, I got some lights, I got some magnetic switches like you would have like on a security system on a window, and I wired it all together. There was there's a microcontroller in lights now, which I wasn't prepared for, but I worked it out, kind of old school way of working around that, but a little soldering iron fun, and I had the whole thing working with a battery pack, and it was really cool. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. I really enjoyed doing that.
Come join the server and you can see a video of Justin plugging in and lighting up.
And it's, I mean, sure, it's a little sexual, whatever.
Yeah, well,
too bad. Too bad. Yeah. How's Halloween going over in...
It was good. Jack was a cow.
Nice.
Current favorite animal, so, worked out well.
Yep.
Moo, yep. It was 80 degrees here on Halloween, which was like really not awesome. I guess it really
Halloween's made for just a little cold. Yeah.
A little crisp, yeah. So that was weird. But we have a humongous Halloween turnout in our neighborhood. So we were cleared out. Trick-or-treating is like a 2-hour thing. We were cleared out in the first 25 minutes. And
Whoa.
we just go back inside. Sorry, guys. So
Whoops.
people drive in, like 6 o'clock strikes, and people drive. They're just like lining up on the street, one after the other. They just grab any spot and hop out and do the whole neighborhood.
Oh. That's okay. So the thing, we drive to our friend's neighborhood, but so whatever.
Yeah, and
maybe
I'm sure
part
that's happening here too. But like, I mean, I used to think that was lame. Nowadays, I'm like, I don't know. My neighborhood is pretty airtight for trick or treating, so
pretty good. Yeah,
like it's worth it.
Yeah. The thing that bugs me now is there's people who basically like drive their kids around. So there's a lot of cars, and they're like creeping along with the kids, or like the kids then hop in and then they go to like the next street corner and drop them, and they do that street corner, and then I was like, no, and plus, and like whatever, I'm not going to tell people. Well, whatever.
Well, I don't know. That's not. It kind of ruins the spirit of the whole thing.
I think that the car thing is really dumb. It was also like just a ton of weed smoke. It was like, honestly, on some of those street corners, we're like going around, and there's like, when there was like more than one car, I'm like, really? It's everybody's just like driving their kid. I don't know, whatever.
Like, read the room. It's not the time.
I don't know. I don't know.
God.
So, whatever. That is what it is. But yeah, the driving your kids around thing, like, nope. No. Don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, it was great. Jack did the street, and this is his third Halloween, which is bizarre to think about because he's only 2. But this is kind of the first time he's been around like enough to notice that it's happening,
to really know,
to really know, and to be out after dark, which was like a first.
Oh yeah,
he has not been out like to experience night before.
Yeah.
Which is such a weird thing to think about, because he walked out onto our front porch and was like, oh, like what's this? And he was kind of walking around the neighborhood, like just looking at everything, like what is going on? But there's a lot of people, they basically close off the streets. So it was like really busy, and we're there and neighbors are there and stuff. And he's just like, what? It was like really cute. He was a little freaked out and stuff, but then he warmed up to it pretty quickly when he realized he could just like get
candy
handed
involved.
Candy. Yeah, right. So it was good. It was good.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How are you holding up?
Fine. Like our things is now paperwork and stuff for this house thing. Is there a different thing that you're referring to? I'm trying to think, like, is there something that Derek knows about that I've forgotten about?
I hope not. I just mean in general, the current state of everything, it being Monday, November 4th as we record. But yeah. Let me tell you what an idiot I am.
I'm blissfully not paying. I voted days ago, so I'm blissfully not paying attention now. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, good.
I like to get it done early. Yeah.
Good. We don't have early voting here, so I'm going tomorrow. Yeah. I could have done absentee, but it's one of those things that's like I technically, I guess, don't qualify for, and I'd be kind of like fibbing about it a little bit. So it's like,
we used to do that. We've done that in years past. Do you have to qualify for that?
Well, it's like, there's all these exemptions and you have to pick one. I guess I would qualify as having childcare during those times, but I'm already past the deadline. It's literally tomorrow. Okay. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just go in. But yeah, we had a crazy weekend and stuff, and we're like, I don't know, like the way things are going and the headlines I'm seeing and some of the early voting shenanigans that are happening, I kind of want to be there. I kind of want to like be the only person that touches my thing as it goes in the thing. You know what I mean?
Make sure.
So just like I will validate that, and then I'll go to work. So anyway, that's what's going on. And it's just, I'm feeling it, feeling a lot, feeling the feels, feeling the stress. I try not to do this. It's very hard for me though. This time in particular, it's been very difficult for me to disconnect from U.S. politics. But and I don't bring it to the show, and I'm trying not to now. But I'm just saying, like, It
Yep.
sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
It really sucks. I do an awfully good job. I compartmentalize really well. Like I usually don't feel a ton of pressure about that. Like I know what I'm doing. I get my research done and stuff. And I mean, whatever, I can lament, but I don't find it keeps me up at night, which I feel lucky about because it really could. In Ohio, we have an anti-gerrymandering ballot measure this year, which I guess is looking pretty good. So that's kind of the thing. That's kind of like a light in a tunnel for me right now because it's almost like no matter what else happens, like
that's good.
I think Ohio has a pretty good chance of going back to being a legitimately counted state soon. Because like Ohio like used to be a swing state, and now we're all like, well, it's too bad everybody's only paying attention to Pennsylvania, huh? What happened to us? It's like we might be a what happened to us again, or whatever the opposite of that is, soon, in a few years maybe or something, which would be nice to think about. So that's kind of what I was thinking about today is like, maybe that's the important thing. Not that others aren't.
We have a ballot measure too, and it's about putting an age, what is it actually? It's the age limit of sheriffs being 75.
Oh, age out some sheriffs?
Yeah, except
75 seems pretty old.
It's currently 70.
Oh, the opposite of what I thought.
I know. Yeah. And so the ballot measure does not mention that. So it's just the language of the law. It
that's
says
what they fucking do.
Sheriffs shall not exceed X because that's like what's going to be on record.
Oh.
And
you know what?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that it's currently 70, and somebody at work mentioned it to me, and I was like, those sneaky fucks.
Yeah.
Like it should be 65. It should be a lot lower than 75.
We should be thinking about something else.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you bring. So our ballot measure is not worded the letter of the law. It is, in fact, they submitted it. The petition was ridiculous. Like it was overwhelming to get it on the ballot. But the Republican incumbents who hate the idea right now of fixing gerrymandering got to decide how the wording would be sent to the ballot with absolutely no oversight whatsoever because they own everything. So they literally worded it like the opposite of what it does. It's
like a triple negative kind of thing.
If it was on TV, no, it was like literally they said like if this passes, like a bunch of people that no one gets to vote for are suddenly going to be in charge of our voting districts. You should have a say. Don't give up your say to these outsiders. It's basically worded like that.
The
I'm like,
xenophobia strikes again, baby.
No, sweetheart. You're saying the opposite of what's going. Like no, but anyway, it's kind of rough because they're able to do things like that. But anyway, whatever. Maybe it'll go away. Wow. And then we talked about politics. I don't know. It's fine.
So no,
it's a real thing.
Right. It's a real thing. It's kind of the only thing going on, it feels like. And, to the point of it's becoming hard for me to like focus on other stuff just because we're right here at the finish line. It's like nothing else really feels as important, which is not something I used to feel like. And I hate when something like that comes into my life and it's just so consuming.
Yeah.
Like my job is to look at screens, right? Like I just look at screens all day. So at any point, like it's Windows and it's got the little news feed thing in the corner next to the weather that I can't turn off. And it's always like breaking and it's like some horrible shit. And I just, it's everywhere. And that little drip all day of that, God forbid I like go to YouTube to find some relief. And it's like, do you want to know about this and this and this?
Right,
and
this? There's like all the things all the things that match your algorithm on YouTube, and then a bar of, and here's the stuff you don't want to know about, but we're going to serve you anyway. And now back to your regularly scheduled feed.
Exactly. And even just thumbnails and headlines is enough to be like, I don't need to know the rest of the story. Right? There's no investigative journalism happening here. It's like you just told me the whole thing, so now I know, and now I hate it. Right. And you do that for a year, right? Or however long it's been.
Yeah.
God. So anyway.
What a bummer.
What a fucking bummer. You know what
I'd love to say it's about to be over, but it's not.
And
oh, yeah.
Yeah. My birthday was 1 week ago. Duh. But a week before that, somebody was like, oh, the election's in 2 weeks. And I was like, oh shit. Like we're finally here, right? Like it's not just this thing someday, it's like actually in my face. And so like that really kicked it up, was like, oh my God, now it's actually happening. I'm gonna have to do the part that's my part. So I don't know, to be closing in on what feels like a climactic moment is just of any kind is like, what is going to happen? I have no idea. But anyway,
yeah,
guitars, am I right?
Guitars, bro. Yeah. Definitely.
Hey, your video's frozen again.
Fucking great. Sorry, I noticed there was a little lag between us a few seconds ago, so I'm not that surprised.
That's okay.
I think, whatever. The internet hates us.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
Yeah.
You know what? See what I mean? Like it's Monday in here. Oh, and you know what an idiot I was about this, right?
Uh-oh.
6 months ago or something like that, I signed up for a certification course at work that's like a 3-day, 6 hours a day thing. So I'm in this like 10 to 4 meetings on Zoom today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Why I chose to do this during election week is something only past me can answer, and I have no excuse, because now today was just like the fucking worst. Like I'm talking about change management, and I'm getting a certification in change management, and great, helpful for work. Boy, we're talking a lot about change, aren't we? Like really hitting super hard, and I'm like, fuck.
I was thinking, like, no chance that full screen meetings can push that little notification out of the way, but I guess that's not the issue.
But then I'm also there just at my desk sitting, like watching someone present about change for 6 hours, and I'm like, oh my God, I picked the worst time to do any of this. But anyway, we can get on with it, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let's do something. Let's play a sound. Oh, it carries on.
Oh, those reverbs.
Those reverbs, man, they do it. So, the contest here, the riff-off, the 2024 riff-off that I've decided to call it. I think that's what I wrote, right? I think so. That came to me when I was creating the entry form.
Yes, you did.
That's what came out of my fingers.
The great riff-off of 2024.
The great riff-off of 2024. It's live, and you were absolutely right, obviously, to extend it for like a full month and a half or whatever, because people need time to chew on this one. But there's been a little nibbling going on. I'm seeing some talk in Discord about it, and I'm excited for that to come through. Yeah. So, I've been thinking about if I'm gonna do one too, not to vote on, obviously, but just because just to play. I haven't done anything like that in ages, and I was thinking today, like, it would be rad to do something like I've always wanted to do one of those riffs that's like multi-measure polyrhythm kind of stuff that you have to think about, but I've never done it. I've never so I was like listening to some Sleep Token song or something where it's like, it's definitely in 4/4, but the riff is not, and I was like, I wonder if I could pull one of those off on top of one of these beats. So I'm thinking about that anyway.
Yeah, do it. That'll be fun.
I'll see what I can do.
The rules have been posted to our giveaways channel in Discord. There's a Google Drive link. There's a forms link where you can start submitting your stuff. Again, 1 entry per person. You can change that entry up until the cutoff time, which is midnight Thanksgiving night. Okay,
which is
Eastern time.
Which is for the Canadians. Still
for
coming
the Canadian. Still
I was like, it ends on Thanksgiving, and he was like, but that was like 2 weeks ago. I didn't have time.
So November 28th, 2024 at midnight Eastern will be the deal. And winner selection will be chosen by our community, our tone control community, through ranked choice voting. So a voting system of which will be coming soon. More details on that eventually.
Yes. Maybe that also happens on another form or something like that, because I'm not sure where there's good way to do it in Discord, but I'm pretty sure I could do it with Google Forms somehow. So
I think you're right.
Yeah. So that's fun.
So get in there. You can win a Lollygagger Canalia Overdrive.
Yeah.
Need I say more, right? I rest my case.
Don't fuck this up.
You can win.
No, I mean, have fun.
Don't mess it up.
Regardless, yeah. And all submissions, you waive your right to tell me I can't play it on the show.
Yep.
But we're
like,
all friends here, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll tell you it's terrible and then still include it on the show for years to come.
If I tell you it's terrible, it's because I like it and I'm going to play it on the show.
Yeah, it's because I wish I wrote it myself.
Those are the only circumstances in which I would tell somebody their riff was terrible.
Yeah, so all that can be found in Discord. We have a giveaways channel. You can find all the details and links there, and you can find the link to that Discord server in the show notes and, where you find links. I don't need to explain that to you.
Yeah.
You're a contributing member to society. You've got it.
We assume.
I hope.
Speaking of...
I think we're all holding on by a thread here. So.
Yeah, that's true. You're a contributing member to society, in quotes. That's the part I find questionable right now. So
I love the meme that my favorite meme for a little while was like Pink Floyd says, we live in a society, parentheses, 9-minute guitar solo. We live in a society. That's like the only lyric.
Yeah. I keep seeing this and forgetting to talk about it at all, but the speaking of show notes, some time ago, Spotify changed like reviews and stuff. Like that doesn't happen anymore with Spotify, but you can comment directly onto things like I think the way
like
YouTube
a podcast
does.
episode. Yeah.
What do you mean like a podcast episode? Was I supposed to know about that?
No, I mean like in a like you can comment on podcast episodes. Is what I mean. They've added this feature. Yeah, so you can't. I don't think you can comment on music, can you?
Oh, I don't know. But no, I was thinking about it because it's like that's like a toggle, which as soon as it came on, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. It says interact with your viewers. Yeah. So I wanted to kind of like highlight that in case other people like me didn't realize that. So YouTube has had comments for ages. Now Spotify has comments where there can be like conversations and stuff there. Stuff like that, is interesting and fun. Obviously Discord is where we really hang out, but like whatever. I keep thinking of it and going like, I wonder if anybody even notices that that's there.
Yeah, I mean, interact with us or the show on whatever platform works for you.
Right.
For sure. Discord's like where all the action is, obviously. Like, you know that. Yeah. I don't need to. Come on. Yeah. It's 2024, guys.
Yeah.
Where's the tone control? Discord. Like, everybody knows.
Everybody's on fucking Discord, dude.
Yeah.
Like, everything has a Discord. If you don't, like, whatever. I'm not going to. It's not the right time to go shaming everybody, but at the same time, like, honestly.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Get a Discord. So, write a riff, send it in.
Yeah, do it. Okay. Next sound, opposite corner of my board.
Whoa.
That thing sounds like it has like a stick hitting a rim in it in a couple of places.
It does. It does sound like that. I don't know if it actually does.
I think it has to. Anyway,
would you do that? Is that a Justin move? Did I make that one?
I don't know. I don't know. But you used to, like back in these days, I bet this was like a drum beat that I created from something.
I bet it was, yeah.
It could have been like from like loops and stuff I had though. They weren't all MIDI. They weren't all MIDI samples. Some of them were like actual sampled performances. So I wonder if that drummer just put it, because it happens twice. It has to be on purpose, or it's like a jazz thing where he fucked it up and then he was like, "I'm gonna fuck it up again."
Make it a motif.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I've always noticed that. I never said anything. So
well, now he has said it.
It's just an episode of those things now. Okay,
I love it.
Yeah,
yeah. Justin's up on his soapbox of like stuff he's been wanting to say that's kind of irrelevant, but nice to know. And another thing.
You know what else? I rather like apples. So, they're pretty good food. Like as a food, that's pretty good.
I know a guy, I have a friend who isn't going to hear this, but tends to post on socials pretty infrequently. Like he's not really a social media person,
Okay.
and I think these days really isn't at all anymore. But when he would post kind of pretty normal takes about things, like pretty
not
hot takes, like pretty normal stances on things, as though they were hot takes. The tone was very like, listen up, everybody, take a knee. Let me tell you what's up. COVID's bad, okay? Like, oh, bro, we know. Nobody
was he
waiting
self-aware about it?
I don't think so.
Not
Nobody
really.
was waiting around for like your specific post to be like, oh shoot, he's like, yeah, Anyway,
We're hitting a tipping point now.
yeah.
Now that you joined the conversation.
Right.
Wow. So
anyway, friend of the show, I've decided to call him Rhett Shull, has put out a new video. I'm only
basically met him once. It's fine.
We met him. I've talked to him a few times. He was on the pod. He was on the Tone Control with the episode titled, what is it? Guitar is back, comma baby.
Yeah. Yeah, he was, and obviously he's great on TV and everything. So he was great on the show. That's the thing about people like that.
Rhett is one of these cool guys that does YouTube for guitar stuff, and does guitar for YouTube stuff. Anyway, he's been out there for a while and has like a gajillion subscribers. I don't need to tell you about that. But anyway, he posted a video today about, moving his video channel or hoping that other musicians and stuff will move away from the tech demo / review model and into or start to include more of the capturing of the creative process, which is, I think, very cool and noble and interesting, and I'm here for that. However, it gave me a lot of pause because a conversation we have in my band a decent amount of the time is the constant pull and struggle of having to essentially become a content creator at the same time you're being in a band and like doing that thing too. Mm-hmm. And I never comment on YouTube videos, but I mentioned it in a comment to Rhett, and I was like, I love this idea. However, like this other truth exists, like this, right, comma baby, like this other thing can exist where like, I don't have an audience of 600,000 subscribers to try this other experiment with, and when I'm in that creative process, I'm probably not going to want to stop and set up my camera gear and lights and get recording of that. Like there's that aspect of it. But then also, and I always hated this part of all the bands I've been in. And I didn't really realize I hated it a ton until I really stopped doing it and walked away from it. But it's that thing of like having to make all the extra non-music stuff that is so demanding and leads to so much burnout, I feel like. It's all that administrative detail you have to do. Yeah. That you're like not really that well equipped to do as a local band, covers or originals or whatever. Because like you're just a bunch of guys you're just a bunch of random people in a band. It doesn't mean you're like an expert in content marketing either, right? So I don't know. I just thought this concept was cool because we've talked about this in a Blockbuster Summer a bunch, which is like, we suck at social media. Yeah. But the rest of the time we're there
like I'm agreeing that you suck. Yeah, I feel your message.
But it's that like we suck at it, but also like, what sucks even more is having to like feel like I suck at it. Like that's even a possibility here.
Right.
So that's really like the prompt of the conversation, I thought. Because I don't know, I dabbled with YouTube for a little while. Yeah. And it's not awesome. Like the balance, it's like a chicken and egg thing for like what you want to do versus what's going to get eyes. Yeah. And which you should do first when you don't have either.
You have to pluck the chicken and harvest the eggs over and over again yourself before any of those are going to start happening on their own.
Yeah. So, yeah. So and you were kind of just mentioning a little bit ago, like having to redo some of your brand stuff and how like and
how I hate it.
The worst. Yeah.
It is. It makes me think. I want to like dig into this and also circle back to. But Rhett's video is a good idea, which he's also piggybacking on someone else's good idea that he makes sure to mention like 9 times. So. But like you're saying, it feels like so much work, and I think a few things about that. Like, I'm probably / we're probably not the people who are this is gonna be our job, right? Because I have a feeling that somebody more like Rhett Sho it comes a little easier to him. Right? Like there are people for whom this wouldn't be like, oh my God, I hate this. And other subcategories of the work they feel better about. And I think that's true for, the bands. Like there are bands that are managing this, or they just funded the shit out of it at the beginning, and just hired somebody who was good at it. Like there are ways, right? There are ways one way or the other. But you got to find the one that's right for you or you gotta hate it,
Right, exactly.
I had this feeling. So I put this video on to watch Rhett's video, and I'm starting to get his point. And near the beginning, I noticed myself let out this sigh because he fills me with a sense of existential dread of talking about like YouTube as work and like. So just so many things flood through my mind. For one thing, like, isn't he fucking terrified all the time? Like, it's a week doesn't go by that I don't hear about some YouTuber that like, well, the most recent thing is like, and then Nintendo decided to walk up to the line of destroying your entire life. Like, right? Like this is a YouTuber who does game stuff. And then Nintendo was just like, after 20 years of being Nintendo, they were just like, you know what? 1 strike, 2 strike, test me. You know what I mean? And like that, and that's so YouTube background. The 3 strikes on a DMCA, they will delete your channel. So Nintendo could, with impunity right now, just delete this person's channel, right? And this is like livelihood at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so Rhett's talking about like, he's talking about kind of his story and very, very quickly. And he didn't plan XYZ, but this is kind of where things led. And now he's trying to maybe shape it as it moves forward. But like where he stands now is like YouTube is his livelihood. And I find myself, and he's talking about like, I don't really want to do quite as many of these gear kinds of things. And oh God, so many things just hit me in that moment, right? I'm thinking about like you and I, we used to talk about fucking gear reviews all the time, and
constantly.
It fizzled out. You start putting things in the notes. Whenever I look at the notes, I'm like, can I add anything to the notes? The only thing I can ever think of is like, well, this new thing happened, but that's gear. Yeah. We'll probably find something else to talk about, and I let it fly, and then we just do these episodes off the seat of our pants.
That gave me some relief. That I made me wonder if Rhett and people in that circle are feeling like that review burnout. It's not even reviews so much as it is demos. Like that's an important distinction. But I just kind of wonder, like, with this thought, like with this, like let's capture the creative process and like take the narrative of music YouTube, of like guitarist YouTube, in a different direction. Does that lend to the gear burnout thing? It might. I think they're sort of dovetailed ideas there. But now the concept though of video recording your creative process to put on YouTube. I'm really curious, like what kind of video one would make to demonstrate that effectively. That's not just doing a bunch of takes and like getting mad about it.
That's the other thing, right? Like,
how do you make that interesting?
That's scary.
That's scary too, but I bet it's cool, right? Like I haven't watched the video that Rhett mentioned, that he's kind of spinning this idea from. But that guy is successful with it seems like. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It sucks so much to like, it takes just as much creative energy, I think, and just as much creative time, like in my scenario, to be active in my band, to be like not a present and contributing member to the band, and more than just I'm learning the songs and playing them. Like I'm helping plan things. I'm helping like part of the band conversation, right? I'm doing that. To do all the socials and stuff is like that again. And I just don't have that again, right? Like I don't have all that extra space right now. And I don't know if I ever did, but I always just sort of made it happen. And it was fun. Like the content we made in those bands was funny and like silly and stupid and great, but damn it was so much work, and it was so disheartening to work on, because it just like casts this spotlight on a bunch of stuff of like, is anyone going to see this? Like, does anyone think this is funny? How many views does this have to get, or how much interaction or result from this
before it will be worth it?
Right. What's my ROI? And I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm like saying what's my ROI about a band.
No, but
that like it's still there though. Like it's a very real
if you're doing
concern.
The parts of it that don't come naturally to you and don't seem fun naturally, then it has to be that. It's totally justified to be thinking about what's my ROI. I'm not saying like you have to make a bunch of money off of it, but like if there's anything I'm doing, I'm thinking, why am I doing this? And, and part of the calculation, like if I'm doing something I like, then the why I'm doing this, like it's fun.
It's 'cause I like it,
I'm deriving value from it in that sense. But everything has to have some value, like in some part. And some of it might just be like, well, I take care of my house. You know what I mean? Like, and that has benefits. Like my family benefits from this. Like sometimes I think about that. Like I'm the one who's here. I do a lot of housework around here. That is like part of what I'm contributing to this family. Like my wife makes a lot more money than me. Yeah. And it's like, well, here's how we organize that. Like she has to work a lot more than me. And sometimes it's just like, well, whatever, right? So like there are things that we do. And so that's my value equation too. I'm not just like going, I never do things I don't like, right?
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to come back like, oh, you're going to take this creative process, which let's presume that part's fun, right?
Let's presume that part's fun and going great.
That part is self-justifying. But now you got to add cameras and so all of this is like, it's easier for somebody who has the cameras. It's easier for somebody who is familiar with doing that all the time. You know what I mean? So again, you're greasing that wheel if you've done it already, but if you're going to start it up. Now, how would you make it look? I started thinking about like, if I'm trying to riff, I feel very self-conscious about it. And I think about like back when I was
vulnerable.
Back when I was creating like original music in bands, it was like the part of it that was almost the most draining for me. Well, the administrative crap and like trying to book shows and, that was extremely draining. But even the creative process, I actually find, I hope this is not true for most people, but like I am not interested in that anymore. And I realized like I find that really draining because I'm super self-conscious about it. Like, and I feel like I want to self-edit so much that like almost nothing is like good enough to show somebody. And that I think is not a path to being like a person who can create a lot of like very many great songs at all, right? Maybe you'd stumble on one by accident, but like I really feel like you need to be able to like push through a lot of stuff and then self-edit. And so that's like a terrifying idea to me. Like I'm going to like try to make up like just this, let's take this riff contest thing. Like I'm going to try to do this riff thing. Like the idea that I would have a camera on, and even if I get to edit that afterwards, I'm like, whoa, like that's horrifying to me, Yeah,
I used to do it for the show when I was like doing the live streaming with the pedal demos and stuff. Like that was a lot of work. And I also like really feel like I was not able to, my mind was in two places. I was not able to focus on the riff. Yeah, the riff in the way that I wanted. I was not able to focus on like the tech of the stream working and stuff and like running that properly, and also not really able to focus on like the engagement with anyone who was watching. So there was like these three fronts that I was just sort of not doing any of them particularly well.
They're all just going to sit there a little below 30% each, right?
And I'm just like, well, but it's still a fun experience, I think. Yeah. But yeah, it was so much work, and it's not like I got lazy and didn't want to do it and stuff. It's just at some point it kind of grinds away at you, like so something incredibly awesome has yet to really come from this. So like, not that everything does, because I think art is worth making even if no one likes it, like capital L likes it, and if no one subscribes to you because of it, then it doesn't mean it was a waste,
right?
But there still has to be that other thing, right?
Yeah,
that other value to you.
The other bits that you add on top of it when you add like cameras and like or document the process kind of thing, like that needs to have justification, right? And it's like I think he has a good idea And there's going to be plenty of people for whom that's not a super big ask, right? And that's probably mainly the people he's talking to, but it does, like, I'm sure he's not talking to somebody like you or me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you know, could that be the thing? I don't know. Something like this could just be the impetus that sends somebody up to like, oh, I'm actually going to give this a shot kind of thing. And maybe that becomes something. Maybe they are starting like a little shift in culture as they talk about how to try to generate clicks, you know?
Yeah. Now, I do follow a guy on Instagram. I forget his name. Nick something, but he's like a metal guitarist, and he does a lot of stuff where it's just him and a plugin at his desk, and he's like working on just like, what's the nastiest riff? Like, can I write the nastiest riff? And he's doing all kinds of stuff, all the programmed bass and drums and stuff, and it's really technical and cool and awesome sounding. And he's doing some gear stuff where he's like, I got this plugin, it's modeled after so and so, let's try it. Or I got this new guitar pickups, da da da.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's just like, he'll write something out on the piano roll and then try to play it on guitar to get the performance. And it's like, that's a cool process to watch.
Okay. Yeah.
Or he'll play a thing and he'll go like, nah, it's too slow, it's too fast, it's too, I need more dissonance, I need more, whatever. And you'll watch him kind of iterate on it in real time, and he's really good at that process, and saying like, and he's doing a ton of trimming down, so it's not live, but you're watching him like watching him on a TikTok or an Instagram reel or a YouTube short or something like that. And he's just like, 5 or 6
so he's got it down to seconds.
Restart. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because, this video is 30 seconds long or something like that. And you're like watching this journey of like, here's the riff idea. And he goes like, he'll fumble something up and go like, oh, wait a minute, that's cool. And kind of work it through. Like, what if it goes here? And okay, yeah, then the next part will go like this. And then that's an exciting feeling as you do that. And like, I've done that, right? We've all been, when you're writing a song and then you find like the next part that's going to go and it transitions really well, that's so good. That feels great. And when your song is like something that you're getting really excited about, that's the best. And then someone's like, okay, now also like, right, like launch a social media campaign about this. Like, what the fuck?
Right. And also your camera has been running already, and then later you have to like edit this down so that it's palatable. So it's not like, well, because it's all of these things. I was about to say it's not this other thing, but it's all of these things. It's the edited down YouTube short thing, which I wonder what the value of those are anyway. Like, I don't know, but whatever, YouTube's pushing them. So you kind of have to go where they want to go. Yeah. But then it has to also be some of the longer form things as well. But is that
I agree.
hard? I mean, because those are easier, but are they as good content, or is the attention span?
I think it's also the thing that, one of the things that's interesting to me is like, think of your favorite YouTubers and like what makes them your favorites. It's, their content or the way they edit or the messaging and all that kind of stuff. The thing that like it's easy to forget. Like you watch a Nintendo YouTuber because you're attached to classic video games and he does a really good job and stuff like that. But what you're not realizing is that you're also a fan of him as a YouTuber, right? Of his craft with YouTube. Yeah. And like, that's the unseen thing. Cause probably not watching his videos like, what a great edit, or like, oh, the production of this voiceover is so great. Like, there's all of that stuff.
Although once in a while, but yeah, I get.
Of course, yeah, you know what I mean. That like the actual major product that you're consuming from this person, you don't even notice, and so like that's just
the thing that was the most work, almost.
The delivery of it to you,
right?
Yeah. So I think about all that kind of stuff when someone's like, oh, we should like post some stuff from the rehearsal space on our Instagram. And then I'm just like, I have a little apprehension, I guess, or PTSD type feeling of it because of like, now we got to come up with some funny idea. We got to do it right and not look stupid. We got to play the part right. Like there's all these other things that feels like I know this is just going to become a pain in the butt. And I'm trying not to do that, to like not come to my band all jaded like that. But I'm like, yeah, I know the part. So somebody set up a camera, we'll turn the lights on and we'll do it. Like I'm not going to dwell on this. And I also just sort of stopped like volunteering my time for things like video editing and whatever else, which goes a long way. That's a boundary issue though. So different conversation, but it's just that, so go ahead.
There's, in like video game streaming, one of the things that gets set up, and not just people who are streaming, actually, I should say. So like video game, computer game stuff, and I imagine this goes for consoles too. I don't see why it wouldn't. But essentially you have like a replay buffer running all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah, you can set those up on PC as well. And most of the time streaming setups kind of include that kind of thing, or at least it can. And so the idea would be like, you're not actually just streaming, but like you're playing your game. And then when the cool thing happens that wasn't scheduled and you didn't have to think of the idea, right? But then you just hit your key and you dumped the last minute or whatever out of RAM into storage, and there you go. So that's one of the key things for me. It would be like
a DVR.
If you're right. If you're trying to like do the like, oh, we should post that on our Instagram, it's like when I said earlier, the camera had to already be running. Like that's the thing. Like it's there, but you're not actually thinking about it. Like it's been there so long, you're not thinking about it anymore. And you need that, like it's a rolling 60 seconds or whatever. So that, and it's no big deal, but like if something happens, somebody reaches over and pushes the big red button.
Bam.
And it dumps it, and then you can edit that. You can clip that down and make it even better or whatever. But that would be a nice trick.
Actually, there was a time when GoPro was really blowing up. They had that built into the hardware.
Yeah. Well, then they must still, right?
I think they do. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't, but yeah, it was a thing of like you could set that window that it was constantly recording. Yeah. It could be like 1 minute or 3 minutes, 10 minutes,
depending
whatever.
on the size of your card. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you got the shot, you could just click it to stop. It's kind of like how high-speed cameras work. Like it's just rolling and then you click it to stop. So that would be great. They make guitar pedals that do that. Fucking A. TC Electronic makes one.
They probably make that in a cable, right? Wasn't there one that was a cable that had a recorder in it?
Probably some dog shit that had an SD card in the cable.
The recorders in the cable? Yeah, it's a micro SD, bro. I'm thinking about, so going back to Rhett's thing, he's not just talking about like you have to do extra stuff. He's actually like the main thrust of it was like self-reflective, right? Of like, I'm not necessarily doing the things that interest me the most, and this would interest me. It's almost like this dawned on him recently, right? And it's like, I want to make me like, well, whatever. He has a new album, so like clearly he, making music was on his mind. But just like, so for them, the friction is lower, he's not trying to shame you or me, but the friction's lower. And, but like from a very like community perspective, I want to see what you come up with, is what he said,
what's weird too is
that's
like
pretty rad.
In this social media shift that we've seen in the last little while and bands and stuff, like I'm just gonna say it. I'm on TikTok because it's fucking hilarious. I find some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life on TikTok.
Yeah. But
it's just a mindless scroll, and it's something that I'm, not thrilled about. But if I'm seeing the same content 2 days later on Instagram, you're not better than me. Right? Anyway. It's a vice. But
I am not on TikTok. However, between you and your wife and my wife, I'm pretty sure I see all the best stuff.
You see all the best stuff, right?
You guys just share it to me.
Hilarious.
And I use you guys as a filter. So you're doing the Lord's work and you're keeping me from having to scroll TikTok.
But now I'm like, I'll see these funny things where it's like I saw this one the other day that was like a local band's haunted house. And like, that's a funny bit, right? Okay, so the guy walks in and he's like, hey, come to and then he's like assaulted by a band member. Come to our show. Come to our 25 band bill. We go on at 11.
Oh, I got it.
And he's like all afraid of like everything they come up and say like, yeah, you can use the house kit. Right? Hey, can I borrow your amp? Like, all this. Like, that's really funny, right? That's a funny bit. And then only later was like, did I realize this is a band that posted this bit. Like, this is a band that's doing like stand-up bits on TikTok. And
they
then
did this
you're supposed to find
practicing.
out. Then you find out that they're a band and you follow them as a result. So like,
did
that's
you follow
a whole
them,
thing.
Though?
That's I did not. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction.
See? You see what happens, you guys, when you waste your time on these jokes.
So, you don't get followers. No. But I thought, like, that's so bizarre. It's like I'm exposed to these people by their commentary on music, or like I'm on their coverage of an event or something like that. And it's like, oh wait, no, you're like a real person in this field, and you didn't tell me that part first. I think about.
Oh yeah, go on.
I think about that, and I think like I look at our band, right? I look at a Blockbuster Summer, and I think like, hey, we're kind of doing great. Like we don't have a ton of gigs, but the ones that we do have are fucking killer. They're always packed. We always get paid really well. Our rehearsals are super efficient. Like it's just checking all the boxes. And I'm like, if we could somehow like put that energy out there that people know, like we're cool, we're killing it, our shows are so fun, blah, blah, blah. Like that's exactly what this is. And the thought of that, adding that job onto all of this other stuff that we're doing to keep this band at the standard we want to keep it at.
Yeah. Without dropping that standard.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And we got guys driving all over New England to come to rehearsal. So I'm not going to be like, let's do this other thing in rehearsal this week. Like
it's like you're potentially
let's shoot a bit.
You're potentially at the zero sum, right? Already, right? It's you don't know until you take something away. And then from something you want, right?
So then the whole conversation changes. I was talking to Eric about this today, because he's a professional guitarist. And I was like, look, you're not a content creator as like a social media or like YouTube person or whatever. But he's saying like, yeah, and that's the last thing I feel like I need.
Yeah.
And because it's, I don't know, what does it get you at a certain point? Again, like who is it for? Who is like, I am doing this creative effort, so I need to tell people about it, right? If you're in a band and you're not on social media, like what are you even doing? Right? How else do you do anything?
Expensively, right?
Has got to be what the answer is. How do you promote shows? Like how do you, except for this one gigantic free platform that we're all on? Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a weird pull.
I this whole time in my mind, I was like, I wonder how long we're going to talk about this for. And I'm thinking about this meme of like the top, the first pane is the guy sitting around with a guitar, like trying to make music, like, but will anybody even listen? Like he's like desperately crying into his hands. And then right below is like the podcasters. And he's like, so I'm in the grocery line, right? And the checkout lady is taking forever.
Right. They just talk about nothing.
He's like, bro, I hate that. And I've got ice cream. Bro, I hate that. And it's like, so here we are talking about how we lament, like making music is so hard. And then to add this extra thing is like this unreasonable additional ask. And I feel so vulnerable already. And this is really going to kick it over the edge. And how do people manage this? And what if it's a zero-sum game and I'm going to take some of this energy away? But I will spew that shit just like, on a podcast all day long with absolutely no apprehension
filter,
at all.
No apprehension. Yeah.
I am sure people will listen to this for some reason. Right? Where do we get off?
I don't fucking know. But you know where the line is? We don't even use social media for the podcast. So like
we promoted it's zero.
It's right fucking there. So, so anyway, I don't know. I'm curious if other people feel this sort of conflict of like, I want everyone to know how excited I am about my band. I want everyone to come to our shows. I want everyone to find our content enjoyable and charming and funny and great. I don't want to do it though. Like I don't
want to cause that to happen. I just want it to have happened.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's a weird balance. But I do love talking about creativity with people.
Yeah.
And hearing about creativity from others and stuff. So
and seeing it, I as much as I hate the idea of having to do Instagram, I like when people make funny stuff and put it on Instagram and then I get to see that funny stuff.
I love it.
I love that.
I know. I love that. And then I can share it with my friends and they go, that's so funny. Yeah, it's the best.
I love that owl with a wig. Yeah.
Yeah, the owl with the wig.
The owl with the wig's fucking great, man. And do you know why? It's great.
It's an owl in a wig.
Because it's an owl in a wig. That's exactly right. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard,
It sure seems to be.
Kind of is.
Yep.
Should we? Oh, we have a thing that. Okay, 4 Year Strong. Let's talk about 4 Year Strong.
So, Derek,
give me a sound. Wait, give me a sound. Let's let's divvy this shit up. Yeah, we're. Oh, excellent.
Why don't I call up a logo or something on screen for them?
Yeah. So 4 Year Strong is a what pop punk hardcore band from. Yeah, they're one of these bands from.
They're one of these. What do you call it? They're bands.
They're from Worcester, Mass.
Look at all their merch. You can't see it, Derek, but I'm showing their website. Yeah. It's just loaded with their merch.
So they have this album out called
Analysis Paralysis. And
it came on like one of those recommendation things on my music app. And I was like, oh, what am I hearing? Right? What am I listening to?
This is like a 4 episodes ago tone control deep cut too, because Derek was like, you should listen to this. And then I fucking didn't. And then he harangued me about it. And then I was like, oh shit. And then I did listen to it, but then we had other shit to talk about and didn't come back to it. So here we are 4 episodes later.
Yeah. It's been a cool 2 months here at the Tone Control waiting for Justin to listen to an album. But it's like I heard the single and I was like, this is a cool song. And then I heard some other songs and I was like, what is this band? What is this album? And I kind of couldn't stop listening to it because I thought it was really weird and like really different than a lot of what I had heard in that kind of category. Mm-hmm. So I sent it to Justin. So lay it on me.
It's there's differences, but there's also sameses, right? And it makes me wonder, like you said, this is like a band from Massachusetts. I think there's something about being from New England and playing this kind of music. It's like, do we need a subgenre? Is this like New England?
It's New England hardcore. Yeah,
right.
New England,
yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
And it has all the things that those New England bands did have, and I apparently still do, right? Where it has the kind of hardcore-y thing, but there's something sort of cheery about it. Yes. You know, and I know that's what you were getting at when you shared it with me. It's like,
yeah, like they're ready to fight, but it'd be really funny. Or something like it'd be something like that, right?
Yeah. The album artwork, like this,
is fucking insane.
Probably has to be an AI drawing of a dog, but like on the Apple Music thing, it like kind of wiggles.
It animates, yeah.
And it's so weird. Can I just zoom in on this? Oh, it's like changing size. Hold on. I'm trying to get to this, but it won't change size. Can I get to whatever? It's this. Here we go. We're just gonna make it a little bigger. There, this friggin' guy. And apparently there's a different AI image on the vinyl, which is what I'm looking at now. But the dog on the front, like his fur wiggles, it looks super real here in still frame, but when the fur wiggles, maybe it's just the wiggling was done by AI, because that's the part that makes it look like a Chat GPT, or not, that's not the one, Midjourney image or something.
Yeah, or Dolly,
Dolly, any of those.
Yeah, it looks like a mascot design almost.
Right. It looks like a
But
mascot
it's also
head.
in this kind of weird, like 70s style Kodachrome type of look. So anyway, this album, it's like there's some parts of it where I'm like, what is this? Is this butt rock? Like, is this just like tough guy rock? Like, what am I listening to?
They genre bend a bit. Around. Yeah. Within songs too. Like, but there's some really fun riffs.
The riffs,
I like the vocal delivery most of the time there. Like really stands out as like they're really. It's
punchy.
It's like this friendly, confident thing. Like I'm trying to use like almost non-musical words because there's a feeling that this, and I know this is what you were getting at, right? There's like a feeling that it evokes that for me, you know, for us is a little nostalgic. And you know, local to that whole kind of scene and feel, and it just
feels really familiar, and it's like I can't really put your finger on it though, can you? It's it's like
it's tricky to kind of describe. I mean,
it's
whatever.
Like light.
It's rock music.
It's fun, but still tough. Like it's both fun and tough. I feel like.
Okay, maybe this like there's a lot of it that feels kind of tough guy, but it has this cheeriness to it where it's like that kind of like New England, almost fake tough guy thing. It's not that it was fake. It's that they were going to laugh about it at the same time, you know?
It's all like all in jest and kind of all just on the grounds of like busting chops. You know, it feels like this album's busting my chops.
It's like, and like so many people that I know and was/am friends with, right? That it was like the music was like, you know, and the fists and you know, pretend punching was like part of the dancing and stuff, part of the mosh pit dancing, you know, and I know none of those guys went around like punching people, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was like this, you know, it's like the original punk rock movement that was like actual fighting and like stuff like that. And then like the evolution from that turns into hardcore, I guess, like kind of linearly, is like this, but we're not like gonna fight people all the time. Like we try to like help each other. It's like this, we're gonna be in the mosh pit and like we're gonna bleed, right? But we're gonna like pick each other up and make sure it's just bleeding.
Make sure you're good.
You're okay besides the bleeding. Okay, great, bleed some more. You know what I mean? Like, and
get you a Band-Aid after.
Right, and this kind of develops from that. This is like the 2000s version of that from the 90s or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. It also feels like it has that sound that like this is DIY. This is a DIY scene. You know what I mean? And it's a very highly produced album and stuff. It's not that the music sounds cheap or anything like that. It's not that. Just I cannot explain it any better than that, I guess.
The music sounds like this dog looks. That's it. All right, I'm getting him off the screen. Well, I mean, like aggressively, like what is he even? Like what is he even? All right, I got to put him back on the screen now. Like
is he a mascot? Is he
mad at me or is he pleased with me? Because I don't have any fucking idea.
Neither does the album.
Right. Exactly.
So all that said, do you like it?
Oh yeah. No, I think it's really fun. I played it. I think I got like halfway through on a drive somewhere. My kid won't listen to it, right? Like,
sure, whatever.
That's not happening. So I get like, I'm picking her up from school. So you get to listen to it on the way to school. You know what I mean? So I get like halfway through and I'm like, oh man, this is going to stay on.
This is cool, yeah.
So I've got like two listens straight through so I could really kind of get the feel for it. Yeah, but it's good. It's in the rotation for sure.
Sick.
Having a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Check it out. Cool. Analysis Paralysis by 4 Year Strong.
Yeah.
A double recommendation. How about that?
Double rec. Thing of the week before we risk going longer than we usually do. I chose those words carefully. What's this one?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
I'm okay.
All right. He lives.
That one got me. So the other day I was at the hobby store and I was at their hobby store. And the hobby store is a game store as well, and they have this like all these a lot of Warhammer. They do tons of Warhammer at this place and some other, wargaming type things. So there's lots of models, lots of minis, lots of paint supplies and things like that. I recently got an airbrush, so I was over there buying airbrush stuff. And they have a whole section of the store that's just plastic model kits. So things like tanks and cars and airplanes and battleships and all this like classic model making stuff. And, I think that's cool. I never really got into that. But I watch people do it on YouTube and it's cool and stuff. But then they have this whole section of Gundam models.
Awesome.
And I'm like, Gundam's like awesome. Like in the first place,
like
just
whole thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a whole thing. And I'm like, I've never really invested too much into that, but like, I just love the vibe. It looks cool. It seems fun. And in my like 3D printing, adventures here, I've noticed on my Instagram account for that, the algorithm is giving me stuff about Gunpla, which is the Gundam model. So it stands for Gundam PLA plastic, Gundam plastic.
Okay.
Gundam.
Got it.
That's all it is. So it's just a plastic Gundam model. So I bought one. This was only like $10. I got this guy. I couldn't tell you anything about it or the character or anything like that. But this came all on sprues and it's all like like this is not painted or anything. The plastic is just this color.
Nice.
You lay the stickers, and it's all snap fit. There's no glue, there's no paint, there's none of that stuff. And you can they're held onto the sprues so delicately, you can literally just poke them through, and they snap right off. And let me tell you, the level of articulation on a Gunpla is out of control. And a whole thing that people do with these is like pose them and build dioramas around them and stuff like that. So every joint is articulated in like two directions. It. You could, yeah. So the head, for example, it can move like right underneath the jaw. So like if you were to nod, yes, but it can also move the lower neck. So if you were to like headbang, right, it can do that. And so it can do that like a real person. Yeah, so it has that level of thing instead of like a regular action figure might only turn left, right, or kind of any one direction, but not both. And so every joint has those like double movements of direction, so you can pose them in really natural, organic looking ways. So people build dioramas around them and stuff, and then what a lot of people I've been watching reels and stuff on Instagram of is they customize the actual plastic and they customize the panels on their Gundam figure. So they're like getting in with stencils and airbrushing, serial numbers and codes, or adding greeblies, or adding their own panels, which you get in there with like, a metal stencil, like a jig basically.
Yeah.
And you cut out panel lines to make it look like the plastic panels, like this guy's boot has a big wide panel. You can cut in new lines to make it look like it's made of more pieces. And all of that allows you to like add extra detail and stuff like that. So this is not, I didn't do any of that to this. This is just snapped together right out of the package, and he's like freaking sick. So Gunpla, Gundam plastic figurines, like
site up here too. So
yeah, so that link in the notes is just to a place that sells like tons of Gundam. There's like thousands of different models or something like that over the years.
Yeah.
So there's like no shortage. There's some like this is what, like a 10-inch action figure. This was $13. They make some that are many hundreds of dollars. They take hundreds of hours to complete. This took about 45 minutes, and I was taking my time. So
cool.
Yeah, really fun to do, and the way that it's all designed, it's kind of like Lego in that. You put it together yourself and stuff and all that, but you can only put it together the correct way, which is kind of nice. So like Lego, you can mess up. This you can't. And the parts, like the quality of the pieces is very, very high. And I love a high quality part.
Man, a high quality part is so nice.
It is, but it's even stuff like there's no mold lines. There's none of that stuff. Like
it looks fantastic.
It's all injection molded and stuff, but you can't see any of the seams, and man, they did a good job. So anyway, get a Gundam. They're fun.
Beautiful. All right. Well, if you want a recommendation thing of the week from me, it's gonna have to just be this game that I've been playing for a long time.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
They had a new they had a big fucking update, and I will say this, like, it's been kind of one of my main games. It was my main game for a long time. It kind of fell down to something I play once in a while. For the past...
This is Elite Dangerous we're talking about?
Elite Dangerous, yeah. For the past year, at least, it's kind of like, some stuff happened, some things changed. They just did a great job reviving things. Like this update changes a lot without going into it, because you'd have to be like know what's going on in the game to kind of get it. But like
Destiny was like that when I was in it.
Yeah, it was like something that I thought was gonna bomb is what we're talking about here. Like the information that they told us ahead of time, I was like, this is not gonna be good. They are blowing it. And got in there, tried it out, realized that I completely fucking misunderstood what they were trying to do with it. Like as in not even just the mechanics of how the thing in the game worked. It was like the point of why they did it was not communicated properly. And once I like stepped back and went, oh wait, this is like a difficulty and friction button. This is like a if you actually want resistance in whatever's happening in the game, you know what I mean? Like make it into a game again instead of just like a simulator that you can drift in. Like people can still do that, but now there's like a mode that you can put it in where it's like you're going to encounter resistance now. And it's like putting the dangerous back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Amazon Prime is going to be offering it for free soon. I forget the exact date, but anyway, anybody who's a subscriber, so Amazon Prime Gaming occasionally gives away games for free. That's going to be coming up here. So anybody who wants to could get a free license for it. It's basically PC only at this point. The console version's got abandoned, so whatever. But that's what I'm back to being at the point where I'm at work going, I need to be productive, but I'm sincerely thinking about the game all day going, I want to get downstairs. Which hasn't happened to me in a long time, so that's fun.
Cool.
So there.
Right on. So there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen up. Join Discord and get into our contest.
Do it.
And join our Patreon, and we can give away more cool stuff. There you go.
Yeah.
That's how podcasts work.
That's how podcasts work. Patreon does not fund our pockets. It funds things that we end up just turning around anyway. Although this one, this is a special surprise anyway. But
this is a special surprise. Again, mega humongous enormous
thanks.
Mega humongous thanks to Sean at Lollygagger Effects for donating the Canalia to our giveaway. That can be yours for the low price of a great riff.
Right. And he's already a Patreon supporter too. So
he's
really doubling down.
He's doubling down. Sean is routinely at the head of the pack as far as our donations.
He likes us for some reason. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
let's get to those patrons.
Let's do it. So patrons for this week include Rabbi Bob.
Wait.
Why did you laugh at that?
Because you were like, okay.
I was getting the breath, right? Rabbi Bob, Meath Kuhn, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast, Andrew Walsh of Andrew's Alcove, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, Doubling Down, Doug Gann, and the third co-host, Eric.
Correct.
That's all.
That's all, folks. Oh, I can't say that. That's probably copyrighted. See you next time.
See you next time, nerds. Bye.
Bye.